I'm Eric.
And I'm Ash.
And this is The Hash.
With Eric and Ash. What's up?
Howdy.
How you doing, babe?
I'm good. How you doing, babe?
Good. Excited?
Excited. Episode number 2.
What are we going to talk... Words. What are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about healthy and just kind of what it means to us. Just again, because we have such different perspectives. Kind of like how we each measure it, how you can get healthy. And then we're going to talk about our morning and evening routines.
And that is going to be episode 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So.
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
Tell me, maybe we'll go, I did like bullet points. Okay. Maybe we'll kind of like go back and forth.
Okay.
Instead of you just having a monologue and then me having a monologue.
Yeah. Okay. So what does health mean to me? I feel like this has changed throughout the years for me a lot. But what it means recently for me is just, you know, being healthy in all areas of my life, not just strictly, am I working out and eating healthy, but do I feel good? Am I balanced? Am I spending time in, you know, other relationships and like just taking time for friendships and setting boundaries? It just goes so much further for me than just here's what you eat and here's what to work out. I feel like health in my mind is just being balanced with everything.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the first thing that I put down here for like, you know, what does quote unquote healthy mean? Again, kind of going a different route than you. I put body weight and, you know, how maintaining a healthy weight and body fat percentage is just like a really, I guess, easy, straightforward way to maintain health. And, you know, those like, I just made a post on this. Well, actually I haven't posted. Well, depends on when this gets posted on when I posted that. But I saw this stat and it was pretty crazy. According to the CDC, medical costs and therefore medical procedures were $1,861 higher per year for adults who were obese than adults who were able to maintain a healthy weight. And then, you know, you hear all the stuff over the last couple years, you know, the people suffering from the VID, those who were overweight in the obese categories, their side effects were much more intense. And so I think, that was kind of what I came up with numero uno on what does it mean to be healthy.
Yeah, see, this is why I want to do this podcast, because we are so different. You are so sciencey, analytical, and I'm just so much more holistic. And like, we obviously came up with a topic together, but we went our separate ways and like wrote our own notes and stuff like that. So it's just interesting to see how you are like number one, and I just wrote a couple. I don't have like a couple of bullet points, but like kind of just big picture for me is just like eating well and balanced, but again, like prioritizing myself and just being healthy in all areas of my life, because when I eat well and when I like work out and stuff, I just feel so much better, and it makes me honestly want to go out and be social and want to do all these other things when I feel balanced in all areas of my life. One thing that I feel like a lot of my clients come to me and they say, they're like, obviously they want to like lose fat and whatnot, but they're like, how I feel about my body is affecting me going out and being social. Like, I don't even feel like myself anymore. That's like one big thing that a lot of clients come to me for. So it's just really interesting how like, yeah, health and wellness is obviously, you know, eating well and working out, right, but it just is such a bigger picture than that. And it's all tied in together. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think like the actual like topic title that we came up with was like, what does healthy mean? You know, and I think it's, I don't think there is one right answer, right? And it's going to be so different for everyone. And so kind of how I approach this was like, you know, areas that are important to focus on when it comes to being healthy. So for me, that first one was body weight. And then the next one for me was sleep, both quantity and quality of sleep. I think, again, that's just like it's one of those like multiplier effects, right? You know, like if if you can focus on one thing that have like the biggest effect, I think sleep would definitely fall under that category.
It's so funny when we talk about like evening and morning routines. I was talking about sleep, and we'll go into that later, but he's very intense. But I didn't even know, like, yeah, I knew sleep was important, but I always just thought like, oh, I'm a bad sleeper. But there's just different things you could do. But you made me realize, like, oh shit, sleep is like so important.
I'm a little baby when it comes to my sleep, which we'll talk about that. But yeah, the next area for me that I put down here for what does healthy mean? Obviously nutrition, right? And I think again, there's a lot of different ways you could go with this, and this is going to look different for everyone. But I think just like, again, what does healthy mean? I think you can't have this conversation without talking about nutrition and what you put in your mouth hole. And so I think eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, eating a quote unquote balanced diet, so balanced macronutrients, plenty of fruit and veg like I talked about, but also the stuff that you enjoy. I don't think a healthy person is someone who just blindly eats a beet salad for every single meal and doesn't eat the things that they enjoy. So having kind of like that 80-20 principle, I think, is important.
Yeah, because I feel like even ice cream, it might not be directly helping my health, but in my mind, it helps my soul. It makes me feel good, so it's helping me in some way.
That's super important as well.
Not to say you should have ice cream for every single meal, but it definitely does something for you or nourishes you in some sort of way. But
well, yeah, and I mean, if like, if you're looking at two different people trying to, let's say they have a weight loss goal, one person went the super restrictive, like I'm just gonna, only eat quote unquote clean foods and only eat chicken, rice, and broccoli, versus the person who's like, cool, I'm gonna eat that kind of stuff for the majority of my food, but I'm also gonna allow myself to eat the stuff that I enjoy. That person who is eating the stuff that they enjoy maybe it'll take a little bit longer or not, but they're gonna be sane, and stick with it, which I think is like what people, have the most trouble with. Because, people come to me, I'm sure people come to you having tried a lot of different things, and it was typically something that's like crazy, something that's super restrictive that they couldn't keep up for the long haul. And that's why, they were ultimately unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's like finding something you can stick with. A lot of people just panic and want this quick fix and just want instant results. But if you find something that actually works for you, you're not miserable. You enjoy the foods that you're eating. You can actually stick with it for, the rest of your life.
Yeah. Word.
Mic drop. Cool. How to measure it? Did you kind of, it's so funny how different I feel like we did this.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love. Like, I like that it's, again, just coming from different perspectives and we're doing it in different ways just because we'll get how so
Yeah. Well, before we get to how to measure it, I put a couple other things. Yeah. I put mindset down on what it means to be healthy. So your perspective on life, like, is your glass half full? Is your glass half empty? That's something that I learned through my education with Muscle Nerds. Shout out to Luke and Zoe over there. They're killing it. But yeah, is your glass half full? Is your glass half empty? What's your perspective on life? Because your perspective is your reality. If the sky is falling and, every day is doomsday, it's gonna be, it's gonna be really hard for you. But if you can, have a different outlook, a different perspective on life, then the world is your oyster.
Yeah, that reminds me, I just wrote a post about how, mindset. I'm obsessed with mindset. Mindset is like I'm woo-woo. Yeah, it's my jam. But like two identical twins look exactly the same body, literally the same face. And one of them is super, super stoked with their body, love themselves, love their life. The other one thinks they're ugly, thinks they're fat. So again, just looking at the two different perspectives, like, which one do you want to be? I want to be the one that is happy and stoked and has a great life. But again, they look exactly the same from the outside. So it really is a lot. It's just so much about your inner world and how you see yourself and how you view the world.
Yeah.
So, babe, fuck yeah for putting mindset on there.
Fuck yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I put movement. And I more or less put these, and I think like most important to least important kind of in my mind. And that's not to say that I don't think movement's important, but I think, I think a lot of people try to reach their health and fitness goals, whether that be to lose weight, whether that be to gain muscle solely. And I think guys are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Guilty of doing this. They use the gym, they use exercise as like the only tool to try and reach these goals. But if your sleep's jacked up, if you're eating like an asshole and the sky is falling, it's not going to matter how much you bench press or squat or anything. And so I think movement is important, right? Getting enough exercise. And I say movement because, if you want to come work with me, I'm probably going to encourage you to do some form of strength training, maybe some form of conditioning, cardio, again, depending on your goals and where you're at. But, if that's like way out of your, I don't know, capabilities right now, like I think just getting out and going for a walk, like I think having some kind of bare minimums on all of these topics, but like in terms of movement, I think like 20, 30 minutes a day is realistic for anyone, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mindset is second to last? Or do you have another one after that?
I mean, that's one way to look at, or it's fourth from the top.
See,
you just got to change your mindset on how I'm looking at mindset.
Oh my God. No, I feel like mindset for me personally is number one. Like if you are upset and depressed and anxious 24/7, like nothing else matters,
Yeah.
So we can agree to disagree.
Or disagree to agree. Okay, cool. How to measure it?
Are you gonna say like blood pressure?
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh my God, mine is the first thing I wrote is when I feel good. Oh my God. It's like so us to a T.
Yeah.
And again, I even wrote down, like, I'm so much more holistic in this sense. Like, if I see the number on the scale, that doesn't really dictate how I feel. It really is, like, again, my mindset. Like, if I'm eating nutrient-dense foods, I feel like I'm very in tune with my body. And I feel like that's something that's really hard to teach, which I'm working on trying to figure out how to teach clients that. Because, when they first come to us, it's like, okay, we need to give them a little bit more guidance. But once you can learn to listen to your body, then you are just golden. And like if something inside me feels off in terms of just how I'm feeling with myself, it could be in terms of nutrition, movement, whatever, I don't feel good. And so I feel like I measure it when I just check in with myself. And I should do this more often, but for example, when we first started dating, you've been in the fitness world longer than me and you know all the facts. Like you're the facts dude. And I don't know that kind of stuff. Like that is not really my strong suit. And so I tried to eat like him. I was like, oh, gotta eat like
protein.
I completely changed how I was eating to kind of fit what his standard of health was. And I felt like shit, honestly. And it took me a while to be like, okay, Ashley, like, you know what feels good to you. Mm-hmm. But it did take me a while, one, to kind of be like, okay, no, my body knows what feels good. It's not just all, here are the facts, this is the way you're supposed to eat, which I do agree in some sense that is a great, like, general protocol. But really listening to your body, I feel like is just so important.
Yeah. And I think, for me, like I kind of touched on some different areas here, right? Body weight, sleep, nutrition, mindset, movement. You can quantify all those things. And I think in order to get to like a place where you're coming from, where like you're kind of listening to your body, getting to intuitive, I think it's important to, on that journey to get there, to have some data, have some landmarks to keep an eye out for, so that you can kind of know where you're going, or know when you end up at that spot where you feel good, or have some like hard numbers like, hey, when I feel good, insert XYZ.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But yeah, you know, I mean, so like how to measure it all, right? Body weight, we can measure that. Wake up and jump on the scale every day, plug it into something where you can see the trend. Nutrition, we can measure that as well, whether that be tracking your macros, using a food scale, whether that be like palm portioning, or whether that be even just taking a picture of your food. Because, I mean, for everyone listening, tell me what you had for breakfast last Tuesday, right? Unless you eat the same thing every day, you probably don't remember. And so I think having some form of, and again, all this is just like, it's not to be a bean counter or anything, but I mean, in a way it kind of is, but like, I think more importantly, it's to bring awareness to the things that you're doing, so you can make changes where they need to be. So, you know, mindset, I mean, you could track that. Maybe you do something like journaling. You know, Ashley's huge on journaling every single morning. Movement, you can track that. And then for me, something else that I do measure with my clients and myself, again, stuff that I learned through Muscle Nerds, can't recommend them enough, is things like resting heart rate variability, and resting blood pressure. And I think, like, in terms of like health, like are you healthy? Are you cleared to do XYZ? I think these are some really good metrics to take to quantify like your stress, how well you're able to recover, how, you know, from everything, whether that be your training sessions, whether that be life, or, you know, stress from a job, and measuring all these things. Again, it's a good way to quantify it. It's a good way to know where to guide your training, where not to guide your training, as well as your nutrition, your recovery, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, measure it all, in my opinion, or at least, you know, start with the things that you feel like you're struggling with most. And
I do agree with that, though. I feel like tracking in some sort of way, it doesn't necessarily mean tracking macros, because
that can be a lot.
Yeah, but like taking photos of your food, or just something to have some insight of the overall view of what you're eating, so you can kind of look back and be like, okay, I'm making these changes. Or I'm not making these changes, you know? So I think that is super important. And honestly, I am learning about heart rate variability from you. I had no idea what that was until recently, until I got the Oura Ring, sponsor us. But no, seriously, I think it is important just to to track in some sort of sense, just to see what's working and what's not. Yeah.
Well, and especially like, again, those three kind of biometrics, stress markers, whatever, resting heart rate variability, and blood pressure. Again, plugging them again, Muscle Nerds here just started their hypertension course, and I kind of just plugged some statistics from here that I thought were pretty wild. Hypertension is one of the top 3 deadliest diseases that we have, only surpassed by cancer and heart disease, which is crazy, because nearly half of adults in the United States, 47%, or 116 million adults, have hypertension.
Damn.
Which is crazy. And there's so much that you can do. You know, obviously, if this is something that you have or is in your family, or maybe you don't even know anything about it, go to your doctor, obviously talk to them, you know, and whatever kind of medications they may or may not prescribe. But there's so much that you can do on your own with, you know, that knowledge from your doctor or without, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of training, what to do, also what not to do, as well as, you know, the nutritional side of things. So, yeah, you know, I mean, this industry, this health and fitness industry, I just think there's such an emphasis on the fitness, on the aesthetic. And I'm not gonna lie, that's how I got into this. I was the fat kid who wanted to look better. I still want to look better, you know. But I think, again, looking at things through that health perspective is gonna get you there faster and safer.
True.
Word.
Love it.
Cool. So, do you have anything else on what does healthy mean to you?
No. Oh, wait. How to get healthy.
Take it away.
Did you do that?
No, but I can free ball.
Okay. Okay, this is gonna sound really fucking cheesy, but just bear with me. Join a coaching program. And I'm not just saying that because Eric and I are both,
Yeah.
coaching business owners. But honestly, if I could have skipped 5 years and skipped trying a million different things, skipped going in such a dark place, just trying to like look a certain way, I would pay so much money for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like everyone has this dark journey of health and fitness, but a lot of people do. And,
It's just a way to speed up the process, listen to the people ahead of you. In a similar but different route, instead of I should have hired a coach, instead of hiring a coach, I became a coach. Like I was just so curious about all this stuff where that's just where all my free time went. When I was working other jobs, like you'd see bodybuilding.com on my computer instead of, what should have been there. And I just went down the rabbit hole. And I never looked up, from personal trainer certification, nutrition certification, becoming an in-person personal trainer to doing corrective exercise, 3 or 4 Muscle Nerds courses later. It's like, not that I'm regretting any of that, but, having a coach or someone who can sift through the bullshit, honestly,
especially if you just don't have the interest in trying to do
Right.
your own research. Like, I feel like this is how we found our true calling.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not into that, hire a coach because, I would have skipped 5 years of being very intense and being very hard on myself if I could. But again, I don't want to change the past because this is why I'm here now. But yeah, and then a couple of other things is just don't try to change everything at once. Like, again,
Right.
we always try to panic and we're like, go either full throttle, like 150%, and then we get burnt out. And then we have to, like, we go to
Do it all
zero
over
and then we
again.
have to start over again. So instead of just trying to, like, panic and, like, go to the gym 7 days a week and eat chicken, rice, and veggies and, whatever, just working so hard, just try to have small little changes that are actually manageable for you. So then you can slowly kind of start to get momentum and then you're in a place. That's why with my clients, I'm very adamant on starting slow in the gym. There's so many other things to work about. I think gym's important, but we're not going to start off going 6 days a week. It's just, you're going to get burnt out.
Right.
So like slowly making small habit changes.
Yeah, and kind of going off that, I think, again, this is another good reason to have a coach or just be really self-aware. I think when starting out on this journey, again, whether that's on your own or with a coach, you can kind of go one of two routes, right? You can go for the big kahuna, right? The thing that's going to have the biggest impact, but it's also going to be kind of like a big hurdle for you. You could go that route, or you could go for the low-hanging fruit, right? Maybe somebody's super insecure about how they feel in gym clothes. Maybe gyms intimidate them. So that would kind of be their big kahuna going after that. And or maybe if they want to go the low-hanging fruit route, that could be going for a 10-minute walk before work in the morning.
Even just sleep, like getting more sleep so you have more energy throughout the day instead of like waking up at 5 a.m. and going to that Orange Theory class.
Yeah.
That's just going to stress your body out more and you're going to have less sleep. So you're not going to have as much energy.
Yeah.
And just on top of that, you will probably try to cut back on food. So you're just going to be even more exhausted. So really just starting small.
Yeah, starting small, and again, figure out what that be for you. Like we've talked about a lot of different areas of health and things that you could measure, things that you can manage, and just start with one.
Does that say 1 minute?
No, it's 24 minutes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna.
No.
But yeah, I mean, just don't overcomplicate it. Like, eat real whole foods. Everybody wants the secret magic formula to fat loss, and honestly, there isn't one. It's just
It's called patience.
Yeah.
That's the secret pill.
Just eating real whole
And consistency.
foods. Yeah, that you enjoy too. Like, I promise you, you can make everything healthy. I'm not even going to get into the American just food, what's the word I'm looking for?
Diet?
System? Just
Oh, yeah.
like, words, big words.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Just like the food industry, there's they can put anything, like legit poison in our foods. So just eating as real whole foods as possible. If you can go organic, which this is a whole other conversation we could have because we have different opinions on that, but just eating locally grown, or get some tomatoes from your parents, you know?
Yeah. Shout out Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn. Yeah, just move your body in a way that feels good to you. That was my last little, strength training is great. I think everybody should be doing it. But if you hate it more than anything in the whole entire world and you're going to go to yoga, go to yoga.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think, kind of going off that, like some you could get in an argument on the internet, about anything, but about, the best, most optimal way to train for goal XYZ. But look, and if the research says, maybe strength training 4 days a week, doing upper lower split, hitting the big compound movements is best, but you hate that and you like going to your yoga class or going to your Zumba class and you're going to do that consistently, do that, because a little bit of something is going to be better than nothing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Dope.
So, shall we move into morning and evening routines?
Yeah. I'd get that a little closer.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. I feel like for me, I'm obsessed with morning routines, like obsessed, and you're more of like evening routine kind of a...
Yeah, yes and no. I think...
Maybe sleep habits is a better word.
I feel like it's like, it's less about like here's my daily routine, I do actually, yeah, that's you.
What was that robot? What was that?
Well, I don't know, but I think I'm less like, I don't necessarily do the same thing every day. I get up, journal XYZ, but there's things that I do in the morning and things that I do in the night in order to manage my energy best. So yeah, but let's have you dive into your morning routine. What do you do?
So yeah, I've had a morning routine for years now, and it changes, and sometimes I'm amazing at it, sometimes I'm not. But honestly, over the past couple years, a morning routine has been something that is kind of a non-negotiable to me. Just during the week, during the weekends, I don't really care. But one of the things is staying off my phone right in the morning, because when I stay on my phone, if I look at my phone right when I wake up, that's just so much information going into my brain. You could wake up and look at a bad email, and that immediately just puts you in a shit mood for the rest of the day.
Done that.
Yeah, same. So instead of that, I just try to pump my brain full of affirmations and meditations and gratitude. So what I do, I first wake up and I use this app. It's a meditation app that I absolutely love. And I'll lay in bed sometimes and just listen to it. Or sometimes I'll, walk downstairs and sit and actually do it. But the point is that the first thing going in my brain is some sort of positive affirmation, meditation, something that gets me just excited and motivated for the day. And then I have a journal. And again, I pretty much use
Just get a little closer.
every day. Like I write down half a page of affirmations, and whatever, this could sound woo-woo, but essentially it's just writing down my goals, but in the present tense. And it's been life-changing for me, honestly. Like, even I look at what I wrote down,
6 months ago, a year ago.
Is my life right now, him included. Like, literally everything. So yeah, I do affirmations and gratitudes. The more grateful you are, I just feel like it opens up your world for abundance, and then you can just see more opportunities. And I feel like we could go on a whole fucking, oh my God, I swear a lot, a whole thing of mindset, but I won't go too far into it. Also, I read this thing. It's not research, it's TikTok, but but still. And this girl was talking about the way you receive dopamine in the morning is the way your mind unconsciously seeks out dopamine for the rest of the day, which I think makes so much sense, because I even notice when I wake up and I'm like scrolling on TikTok right when I open my eyes, all I want to do all day is scroll on TikTok.
Yeah. Let's make sure. Is there any other part of your morning routine?
I mean, one other thing I was going to mention is kind of going back to the affirmations. When I was auditioning for pro dance teams, I woke up and told myself every single morning that I was on one of them, even though I clearly was not. But I'd wake up every single morning and say, I'm a 49er cheerleader. I am a Warriors dancer, whatever I was auditioning for. Like, and that made me like take action to kind of step into that person.
Right.
But actually like talking about your goals as if they're in the present tense,
It's huge.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. But it changes all the time. Sometimes I read a book, sometimes I don't. You know?
You were doing Pilates for a hot minute.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I switch it up all the time. See what feels good in the time of my life that I'm in.
Yeah, mine's a little different. Again, it's not necessarily like a routine or like a checklist, like a routine. It's again, it's just things that I try to do, and I'm not perfect about it by any stretch of the imagination. I don't do it every day. Sometimes I do part of it. Sometimes I don't do others. But again, it's really like things I try to do to manage my energy best. And the first one, which is a work in progress, but we did a pretty good job about it today. And that's waking up on the first alarm, not hitting snooze and laying there.
I never used to do that until we started living together.
So yeah, the research is there about how snoozing just ends up making you feel more tired. You think you're trying to catch a couple more minutes of sleep or whatever it may be, but you're actually doing yourself a disservice. So number one, try to get up on that first alarm. The second thing I try to do is hydrate before you caffeinate. And this is something that was actually, it still kind of is hard for me to do because I don't know, I'm just like eager for that cup of coffee in the morning. And for a while I was like, oh, just like drink my whole hydro flask in the morning, and that's like a little ridiculous. And then for a while I would get up and I'd have my big smoothie in the morning, which was a good 16 ounces of water as well as some nutrients in there as well. But lately what I've been doing for digestive purposes, been taking like a fiber supplement in the morning. And then that's also helped me to be a lot more consistent with my creatine. I was taking the capsules for a while, and that was so much easier. But then for some reason on Amazon, the price like tripled. So I'm like, screw that. And so I went back to the powder, and it just sat there forever until I got into the routine of, waking up, coming down, feeding Luna, taking her to the bathroom, and then drinking a big glass of water with the fiber as well as the creatine in there. So hydrating before you caffeinate, I think, is important. And then it also kind of goes in here with number 3, which is wait to caffeinate. This is something I feel like I'm pretty good about. So like 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm bad. Not. I can't. It's the best part.
It's too good.
I did have tea the other day first.
You did. You said you felt better. You
Yeah.
said you felt better. Got hydrated. And the reason for that is, our bodies have mechanisms to wake themselves up. We don't, I know this might sound crazy, but we don't need caffeine to wake up. And our bodies have systems, and the big thing I think here is cortisol. The cortisol levels peak about 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up, and that's going to help wake you up, get things moving, mobilize nutrients and whatnot. And so if you can wait to caffeinate until after that period, so again, 60 to 90 minutes after waking, you're not going to have that kind of crash that you can get from caffeine later on. So that's a big one for me. I also try to get my protein up in the morning. Again, the big ass smoothie that I have most mornings kind of checks that box as well. And then the last thing for the morning is just get sunlight and some light movement. So for us, that's a 20 to 30 minute walk with Luna Bear.
Yep.
Get out there, get the sunlight in your eyeballs, and get some pep in your step.
Yeah.
So
love it.
What's your evening routine look like, babe?
I feel like I'm definitely not as strict on this like I am with the morning, but I do feel like I sleep better when I do this. And I used to think, I was like, oh, I just suck at sleeping. Like, it's just my genes. Sorry, Mom. Like, she always says that. And I'm like, no, you fall asleep with the TV on, But no, again, it depends. I'm not perfect all the time with this, but if I really feel like I need to relax, I will take a shower, light a candle, make sure all the lights are turned off, and listen to like a meditation to just relax me. Read a book. But one big thing is just not being on my phone. Sometimes he'll have his phone and I'll be like, no.
I know.
Like, get it away
I'll
from
have
me.
a funny TikTok I want to share. She's like, no, I'm not looking at it. Anything right now.
I don't want to risk my sleep. Like, that's how important it is to me, is I don't want to mess it up even by looking at a TikTok. Because honestly, if I
No
look
matter
at
how
TikTok,
fire it is.
when I look at TikTok before bed, I feel like I have dreams with the TikTok songs like playing over and over again in my head, you know? Yeah, I mean, just not, honestly, all routines aside, just not falling asleep with the TV on and not being on your phone. Like, it doesn't have to be an hour before you go to sleep, but just do one activity before you, like, in between looking at your phone and laying your head on the pillow to fall asleep. Even if it's just 5-10 minutes of reading a book, like closing your eyes and listening to a meditation, like one teeny tiny small thing in between those two.
Love it.
Let Eric tell you all about his sleeping.
I didn't even put that stuff in there.
You didn't? Come on.
It's just like common. But
No,
we'll get in
not.
there. We'll get in there. So yeah, my kind of, again, I put evening routine, but it's really not like a routine. It's just things that I try to do to manage my energy, to get the best sleep, so I can be the best person I can be for you guys.
Boyfriend, you mean?
Huh?
Best boyfriend?
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. So for me, yeah, number one here, ideally no screens an hour before bed. This doesn't always happen.
This never happens.
I feel like by the time we turn the TV off, though, if we're watching a show, and go upstairs, brush our teeth, get in bed, read, and lay our heads down, I feel like it's probably close to an hour. But anyways, and number one here, ideally no screens for an hour before bed. Again, I think it's a combination of the blue light as well as just the stimulating content, whether that be, show, TikTok, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, and if you have to, which we're not very good at this, but blue light blocking glasses, I feel like those help so much.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and just skip to that. So yeah, blue light blocking glasses. It's not perfect. I think no screen would obviously be better, but if you're going to, I think using blue light blocking glasses and or something like night shift on your phone. I just have mine come on like right before sunset and have it turn off right before sunrise.
And for people that don't know, blue light blocks the production of melatonin, and melatonin is what helps you.
Right.
What's released? Hormone? Is it hormone?
I think so.
A hormone that's released in your body that triggers your brain, like it's time to fall asleep. So if the blue light is blocking that, your brain has no trigger to be like, okay, it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah. So yeah, number one, ideally no screens. 2, if you're gonna look at screens, use blue light blocking glasses or night shift. Number 3 here, try to finish eating 1 to 2 hours before bed, if not sooner, to just get that digestion going and before bed. The last thing you want to do is eat a huge meal right before bed, and that have that kind of disrupt your sleep there. And then the next thing, again, it's not necessarily that you do right before bed, but it leads to better sleep, is cutting your caffeine, I think, at least 8 hours before bed, if not sooner. For me, I typically don't have caffeine after 12 p.m. Today was an exception. I just had some before this to get lit up.
Finish that?
Yeah. Yeah, we're caffeinated today. And then, another one, use red light bulbs. We have these color-changing light bulbs that are great. And again, just same idea as the blue light blocking glasses, the no screens. The red light is a lot softer on the eyes and just looks cool too. Looks sick.
It does.
And the last thing, read before bed. Preferably fiction. Don't read a how to get rich quick book or self-development. It's just gonna, again, let your mind wander, let your mind kind of relax. And I think that's best for me right now. Reading Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire. Harry just battled that dragon, got first place.
Also using like some sort of like light that doesn't have blue light.
Yeah, when we first started dating, she had this really cool book light clamp that you could like hook onto your book, and a couple weeks later she got me the same one. So if we're not in a room where we have the red light bulbs, we'll just like walk around with these like the little candles.
We didn't even talk about.
So this is the evening routine leading up to bedtime.
I think one of the first times he spent the night, he brought over his eye mask, and I was like,
Yeah, I played it cool and just brought the eye mask. But yeah, no, as far as sleep, so we just kind of covered the
routine,
the pregame for sleep. Now when we're actually ready to start hitting it, some things that I have found to be super helpful for sleep. We'll go from like least to most aggressive. Number one, blackout curtains are great. Keeping the room nice and dark. They're just going to help you stay asleep. Taking that a step further, sleeping mask is like non-negotiable for me.
That's why night 2.
Yeah.
He's like,
pretty sure it's night 1.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is so great.
And then, the third thing I love is some sort of white noise machine, whether that be just an app on your phone. We have like a little Google Home Mini that we just play brown noise, which is very relaxing, very low key. White noise kind of sounds like static. Brown noise is a little softer. And then for me, so I have not only the white noise, well, in this case, brown noise machine, earplugs as well.
This was the most confusing, and I feel like I'm still a little bit confused on it because there was one sound that I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. I don't wear an eye mask. I don't wear earplugs. So I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Can you please tell the audience why?
I don't really know.
Can you hear it through?
Yeah, very slightly. I don't know. I just the earplugs are relatively. I've been wearing an eye mask literally since high school. Blackout curtains since high school.
Wait,
white noise through a fan. I always had a fan.
Wait, eye mask since high school?
Yeah.
Why did you think to do that, or did someone in your family get it for you?
My mom got me one.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I think I asked her to though.
Oh.
I don't know.
Love it.
I don't know. Probably because I used to take a nap every single day, and that really helps to take a nap in the middle of the day with an eye mask and blackout curtains. But yeah, the white noise and earplugs, I don't know. It just slaps.
Yeah, now that we've agreed on brown noise, I feel like it's totally
I don't know.
chill,
I just feel like unless I'm like exhausted, I'm laying in bed and like I hear anything and I'm just like, oh, what's that? Or like even if she like rolls over, I just like I'm like listening to it. And so just to drown all that out. I feel like also too at this point, like once I do all this stuff, it's like kick it into sleep mode. And more or less like the last couple months, I feel like I've just been falling asleep pretty quickly.
Are you gonna tell them about the last one?
Yeah, we got a couple more gadgets and gizmos to help you sleep. One, I'm actually out of both of these right now. Out of nasal strips. Those are amazing. That. Yes,
those are great.
Yeah, those are good. And for the longest time, I had no idea how those worked. I literally thought it was like Vicks VapoRub, like it was somehow
I just thought it was
penetrating, like
sciencey.
Yeah, it literally just is like strong tape that opens up your nose. So, winter is coming. So if you got a little sniffle, a little cold, little something, you're just congested, throw on a nasal strip, sleep like a baby. And if you want to be a real champ with your sleep, you'll also go the mouth tape route.
I've tried this. I can't do it. Sometimes I wake up just out of the blue. I have asthma. I'm using that as my excuse. That I just wake up coughing out of the blue, and I just imagine my mouth being taped shut during that I would just die.
I feel like a mouth tape. It's that the mouth tape and the nasal strips are the newest additions to my sleep routine. But I feel like they're gaining a lot of popularity. In short, the mouth tape, it's just going to force you to breathe through your nose. And breathing through your nose is how we are designed to breathe. Your nose like filters the air a lot better. You're going to wake up a lot more restful. James Clear, I believe, is the guy on that. I bought his book. Haven't read it yet. It's on the list though. And yeah, everyone's like, oh my God, but like, what if like you can't breathe? It's not like it's duct tape and you're like,
doesn't it rip your mustache off when you take it off?
No. I wouldn't have such a thick, beautiful mustache if that was the case. No, it's like if you wanted to, you could literally go like, and
I'm pretty
peel
sure
it
I
open.
woke up and found it in my hair one time. And I
Yeah.
was like, what is the point of this?
That sounds about right. But yeah, so I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be healthy? Evening, morning routines. We went deep on sleep here at the end.
Oh, you know we're going to have a whole sleep episode, bro.
We're just going to lay
I'll
here
probably
asleep the whole time.
I'm just going to be sitting here while you talk the whole time.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is
Thanks,
episode
guys.
2 of many more to come. Follow us on Instagram at Eric Hunsker and at Ashley Robots.
Yep.
Follow me on TikTok. Hit me on that website newsletter, erichunsker.com. And if you want to lose fat, build muscle, live your best life, and you're a dude, go fill out an application on my website. If you're a female, go fill out one on hers.
Yeah,
and
go to my Instagram. It's on there.
yeah.
Ashley Robots. ROBUTZ.
Bada bing, bada boom. Thanks
Thanks,
for listening,
guys.
everyone. Peace.
Doses.